Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on Voice of the People TV. I am David Edwin. First, the headlines. Trade Union Congress fumes over sudden hike in petrol pump price, demands reversal. Fresh attacks claims lives in Plateau communities. In business, Nigeria's Naira exchange rate hits 6 month low at 1,625 Naira to a dollar. Sports Minister applaud Nwogo for securing Team Nigeria's second medal at the Paralympic Games. Now the news in full. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has condemned Tuesday's increase in the pump price of premium malted spirit, popularly known as petrol, calling for its immediate reversal by the federal government. The union warns that the sudden hike, along with rising electricity costs, will worsen poverty, intensify hardship, and could lead to social unrest nationwide. TUC's President Festus Osifo urged the government to reverse these decisions and implement policies to strengthen the Naira. He also called for immediate steps to ease the suffering of Nigerians already struggling under the current economic conditions. Meanwhile, the minority caucus of the House of Representatives has called for the immediate reversal of the recent increase in premium malted spirit prices, warning that the hike will worsen the suffering of Nigerians. They expressed concerns that the decision, made without consultation with stakeholders, including the National Assembly, lacks transparency and fairness. In a statement by Minority Leader Honorable Kingsley Chinda, the caucus urged President Bola Tinubu to address the link between the nation's dire economic conditions and potential social unrest. The group criticized the timing of the price increase as insensitive to the country's current economic challenges. While still talking for price hike, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that's the ACCI, has raised concerns about the recent fuel price hike in Nigeria, warning of potential severe economic crisis. ACCI President Emeka Obegulu highlighted the impact on businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises, which are already struggling with inflation and high exchange rates. He noted that rising fuel costs would increase operational expenses, leading to higher prices of goods and services, reducing consumer purchasing power, and disrupting supply chains. Obegulu urged the federal government to reverse the fuel price hike and focus on reducing the cost of living. He emphasized the need for a robust price control system to stabilize the economy and protect consumers. He also called for the prioritization of modular refinery construction to reduce reliance on imported premium petroleum products. The ACCI reiterated its commitment to advocating for policies that promote a conducive business environment and sustainable economic growth. And now to some security matters. Gunmen have allegedly kidnapped Otuba Benedict Akika, a key ally of Governor Seyi Makinde and a prominent PDP chieftain in Oyo State. The abduction reportedly occurred on Wednesday night at his residence in the Lagelu local government area. Unverified reports suggest that one person may have been killed during the incident, though the State Police Command, for confirmation, have so far been unsuccessful, as the police public relations officer SP Adewale Oshifeso has not responded to inquiries. Authorities have stated that they are working to resolve the situation. Meanwhile, 7 persons have been killed in fresh attacks on Tuesday night in the Dafo and Quarters community of Boko's local government area of Plateau State. The assaults, which occurred around 7 p.m., were reportedly carried out by suspected Fulani killing militants. Locals had previously called for help on social media, fearing the attackers were nearby. The Boko's Cultural Development Council confirmed the area has faced ongoing violence since May 2024, with over 30 deaths and significant destruction of farmlands. The latest attack brings the death toll to 16 in just the past week, despite peace efforts by the military. Major Samson Hakom, media officer of Operation Safe Haven, said details of the incidents are still being waited for before an official comment can be made. Residents remain on high alert as the security situation deteriorates in the region. Still talking insecurity, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has announced plans to deploy more soldiers to Yobe State following a terror attack in Mafa Village, Tomunwa local government area, where incidents killed at least 34 villagers. During a meeting with Yobe State Governor Mai Malam Bumi in Abuja, Musa assured that new strategies and additional personnel would be used to combat the escalating attacks in border communities. Governor Bumi, who visited the CDS to seek support, expressed concerns over recent terrorist incursion into Yobe and highlighted the need for a stronger response to safeguard lives and properties. The Northern State Governors Forum and the Saudi Arabian Embassy also condemned the attack, calling for swift justice for the perpetrators. Well, to help us make sense of all of this news that we've just read out to you, in the studio with us this afternoon is Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Peter Anosike is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He is also an erudite commentator on economics, finance, politics, and power. Definitely he'll be helping us shed more light to this. Mr. Peter Anosike, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, let's start it off from the position of the Trade Union Congress. Alex Osifo, the president, did mention that this is an unplanned action. In his words, he said it's going to cause more poverty and, of course, pain to Nigerians. Do you think at this point the TUC would even have any position to make such statement following the fact that they were in a discussion table with the federal government, agreed to the 70,000 naira minimum wage, which is presently being signed into law, and at this point, a fuel price hike? What do you make of this, basically?
Well, TUC should be aggrieved because this recent fuel hike has made nonsense of that minimum wage. Because it is going to cause a very big inflation. It's going to hike the prices of food, transport, and other things.
It's already high already. It's already high. A lot of persons are complaining.
So this has made nonsense of any minimum wage increment. And it shows how insensitive this government is, because this is a country that is just coming out of a 10 days nationwide protest on hardship.
Right.
And they are inflicting more hardship on the people. Understand me? So the only way to measure how a government is doing is by looking at the quality of life of the citizens. That is the only way, not first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and so forth. Those things does not put food on the table.
That's paper economics.
So if you want to know how a government is doing, check the standard of living of the citizens.
Right.
And when you check that, you know that Nigeria are already missing Buhari within 1 year. We thought that Buhari is the worst that Nigeria would ever had. But right now, some Nigerians are calling for the return of Buhari.
You just re-echoed the voice of Garba Shehu, the spokesperson to the president, on media some time back when he said in less than a couple of days, Nigerians will be missing the former president. But as it stands,
I was thinking that I told myself it will never happen. But now it is happening. That's why they say never say never.
Exactly. I was going to go there. But Mr. Anosike, why did you think it wasn't going to happen from your economic point of view?
No, sincerely, I checked the background of Boname Tinubu,
right,
coming from the private sector.
Okay.
And Buhari, who was a soldier. So ordinarily, Tinubu is supposed to have more idea of economics than a soldier.
Right.
So I thought that Tinubu is going to do better in the area of economics than Buhari. That's why I thought that it will not happen.
Now, I'm still going to hold you on this particular statement. As it stands, the policies of the CBN is not even helping in any way. Inflation is still at food in Nigeria. It's about 1,500 naira. If Nigerians at this point cannot even feed, economically, where are we heading to?
Well, things are getting from bad to worse because there are no even programs that's at hand that will ameliorate the worsening situation.
Policy interventions.
I knew when Femi Adesina was the SA media to Buhari. He said that the suffering, that the pains Nigeria were going through then is like taking a bitter medicine which will heal the whole body.
Right.
So since 2015, we are still taking that bitter medicine.
Those pills, and we're not
even
healed.
Now, the cure has become worse than the disease. That's the point where we are now. The cure has become worse than the disease.
Now, Nigeria has borrowed over 20 trillion naira in over a year of this administration, yet the impact is not felt. Is there in any way the hope for Nigerians going forward from our level of borrowing? Because it's very obvious we don't seem to manufacture. We're not a manufacturing company, but rather an importing company. Country, I beg your pardon. Do you see in any way going forward Nigeria having to even do better from where we are?
There's no hope anywhere because one, they have to service those the debts, understand? Yes. And they are not using that borrowing to they're not borrowing to invest, rather they are borrowing to share. There's nothing really wrong in economics in borrowing. Okay. If you borrow to invest in infrastructure, that will now yield revenue that will help you to pay. But now we are not borrowing to invest, rather we are borrowing to entertain ourselves, to share, which means that debt will keep on piling.
Right.
I'm telling you now, every born child in Nigeria now is indebted to some thousands of naira. Every newborn.
And that's with an inclusive of 220 million plus Nigerians.
Understand?
Interesting.
So they are going to pay what they don't even know how it came about.
All right, let's move it to the real conversation in quote. We're looking at the fuel price hike, and the TUC and of course NLC has called for an immediate reversal of the old price. Interestingly as well, the minority caucus is telling the federal government at this point, you have done what is not in the book. Reverse this price. Mr. Noski, is there any possibility of these prices being reversed? Let's not forget that from what we understand from a particular publication from several dailies, the landing cost of these fuel is 1,200, and the country is selling the fuel for, as at the time before it was increased, 600, 580. Do you see this reversal happening anytime soon?
Well, that also shows you that government still has a hand in all this. Because if it's the market forces that are determining that the price of petroleum products, then you cannot call on government. But now government is still manipulating and regulating the oil sector.
Right.
So if Nigerians should troop out to the street, because the only language that Nigerian government understands is force, protest.
You think so?
Understand me? That is the only language they understand. And if those in the National Assembly really care about other people, it is not the minority caucus that will have been making that statement. It will have been the whole of them That's the 360. Because there are people that are suffering. Those who they are representing are going to bed without food.
Now, exactly where I was going. So where does this now leave Nigerians and the Senate, who is still mum on this entire issue?
That's why I still feel that Nigerians still need to go and occupy the National Assembly.
Interesting times. Now, as it stands, Mr. Anosike, a lot of persons have come out to say this increase in the price of fuel is going to cause so much economic downturn on every single product that comes into the country. The Abuja Chambers of Commerce and Industry have come out to say, look, this is going to have a potential economic crisis. Is it that the federal government is not aware of what is going to happen as a result of this increase? Or they are aware and they just feel, okay, let's just let this go. After all, we have given them the 70,000 naira minimum wage that they deserve.
I say this increment has taken about 30,000 naira from that minimum wage.
In what way, Mr. Anosike?
Inflation. Check this airport road. If
Yes.
you go and do your findings,
Yes.
before from the bus stop that to my two is 400. Now it's 700.
That's like almost 80% increase.
Understand me? That's how it has affected every other thing. Understand? So that's why I say that the fuel hike has made a nonsense of the so-called minimum wage increment. So Nigerian workers are still where they were before that increment.
Now, you just did make mention of the fact that Nigerian workers are still where they are. And what came to mind is the fact that even the minimum wage, a very few number of Nigerians are the ones that will be benefiting from it.
Less than 5%.
Not the entire country.
Less than 5%.
At this point, Mr. President is still quiet. And let's also put it out there, Mr. President is the Minister of Petroleum in this country. And just a few hours ago, Dangote Refinery rolled out the first of its premium motor spirit to the market. Are we expecting any positive from that rollout, if there would be any? Let's not also forget that Dangote has said that his hands are not on the level of prices that is being sold to Nigerians. It is still the NNPCL.
Well, it is Dangote is playing politics.
You think so?
Because I cannot buy cement, buy wood, buy roofing sheet and build a house. And government will not determine how much I will charge as my rent. Understand me? Dangote sourced for money and build his refinery.
Right.
Federal government even disappointed because the federal government said that they are going to take 20% stake.
It dropped down to 7%.
To 7.2.
Yes.
So Dangote should be angry at the government, understand me, for
not fulfilling their obligation.
For not fulfilling their obligation. Now, why is it leaving to them? Understand me? One, I said yesterday that Dangote or refinery, Dangote product is not going to be much different from what the imported product is going to sell.
In terms of price?
In terms of price. Because why to bring fuel to Nigeria, the fuel should first of all be insured.
Yes.
That should be ship to ship and transfer. And then the landing cost. All this adds to the price, to the final price.
Yes.
So this one wouldn't be included in Dangote's own because it's now been refined here. So, but now, if you take out this insurance, ship to ship and transfer and the landing cost,
yes,
it may not be up to 10 naira.
Now, Mr. Anosike, I'm a bit lost, but I also want Nigerians as well to find themselves just like you are.
I'm a realist.
Now, I definitely would take you on it in bits. Dangote got the crude oil from the Nigerian crude oil source at international price, even though it was in naira. he got that price and he refined. Why is he telling Nigerians that this is now the decision of the federal government to tell Nigerians how much the price is? Don't you think there's something that a lot of persons need to know at this point?
Because the cabal still controls the downstream and upstream. The cabal still controls the downstream and the upstream. They have not given up yet. NNPCL, it is still in control. And if Dangote wants to be stubborn, they can deny him of crude oil.
Now that will bring us to this next conversation. NNPCL just a couple of days ago clearly stated to Nigerians that yes, we are owing $6.8 billion to the marketers. At this point, if these marketers do not get this money, it means they cannot get fuel from outside of Nigeria. So automatically what this means is they are stuck with Dangote. Is there any possibility that they would not want to still do business with Dangote and possibly start looking to source elsewhere?
In economics, in elementary economics, what is the consequences of scarcity? High cost and price. Understand me?
Right.
When demand is higher than the supply, price go up.
Right.
And mind you, Dangote refinery was located at the international trade-free zone.
Yes.
So it's going to be selling at the international price, not at the local price. This is what Nigerians should know. They shouldn't expect much from the Dangote refinery in terms of pricing.
Wow.
You can see, Dangote refinery is not going to sell below 900.
Even though it's been refined in Nigeria.
It's not going to be sold below 900. How much did he buy his
crude oil?
Crude oil. Nigerian government did not supply crude to him free of charge.
This is really a revelation to quite a number of Nigerians who are watching presently. But then the question would now be, why then is the Nigerian government invested in Dangote refinery to 7% or 7.2%, which of course Dangote has come out to clarify, because that is also taxpayers' money. And let's not act like it's not visible. The money we're talking about is possibly in its trillions. 7.2% of the entire Dangote refinery is owned by Nigerians. And yet, Nigerians will still be buying at that high price. What does that leave in the taste bud of Nigerians going forward?
Well, that we are being misused, that our intelligence are being abused by the government in power.
Well, interestingly, I would really want to continue on this conversation, but I have to dive on another one quickly. But before I leave that one, Sanosiki, a lot of Nigerians have spoken about this hike, and it's looking very visible that the prices of foodstuff, transportation will be going high. In fact, it has started already. Some of our colleagues that came in to work via public transport really did experience it, and they've been complaining bitterly since they got to the office. But the question would now be, going forward, is there anything that the federal government can do better to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians, even at a time like this?
Well, they should do what TUC asked them to do. They should do what NLC asked them to do. They should do what the voiceless Nigerians tell them to do, which is to revert to this fuel price. And again, to run out the CNG buses, which they have been promising over the months.
The CNG buses is another situation that we need to really...
Audio promises.
We need to really talk about. But then let's come to the level of insecurity in the country. Just yesterday, we hear that a prominent PDP chieftain in person of Benedict Akika, Otumba Benedict Akika, was kidnapped by gunmen in Oyo State. And interestingly as well, we also hear of fresh attacks that claim some lives in Plateau community. The level of insecurity in Nigeria is really alarming. Mr. Hanasike, over 1 year in office by this present administration, the service chiefs have not been changed. and we're still having so much kidnapping, so much killings by bandits, terrorists, and of course, kidnappers. What does that say to the credibility of this present administration as concerning security?
Well, for me, I would say that they don't have answers. They don't have answers to this insecurity problem. And they're not even doing anything about it. Nigerian government is not doing anything about it. And one funny thing that, do you know that General Yakub Gowon, who is from Plateau State,
yes,
has never condemned the killing of his people?
Why do you think he's doing that? Why do you think he's quiet?
That's hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. His people are down. Go to Plateau State. Fundanis have taken over 200 communities and renamed them into Fufude. That's Fufude is the language of the Fundanis.
Yes.
So Fundanis are taking over communities in Plateau State and renaming them into their own dialect.
Wow.
And Gowon is there keeping quiet, a former head of state. When you call him, he said, let us pray for Nigeria.
Mr. Anosike, I would like to find out from you, the Nigerian army, this is the same army that helped Liberia when it was having her serious issues when it comes to insecurity. In fact, the Nigerian army was started as one of the strongest in the whole of Africa. Is this a sign that the Nigerian army have been overwhelmed? Or is this a sign, according to some quarters, that the Nigerian army is being infiltrated by politicians and, of course, political divide?
Their heads are now politicians. Their heads are now politicians. That's exactly what is happening. In the days of ECOMOG,
yes,
that you mentioned,
yes,
Nigerian army are the best in Africa. Anywhere they were in Sierra Leone, they were in Liberia, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And they were the best. They were contributing over 50% that's of the soldiers, and they were winning. That was when they were focused. But now they are no more focused. Understand me? They are no more focused.
You just said now that they've been infiltrated, their heads have been infiltrated,
No,
or their heads are now politicians.
Their heads are now politicians.
So in other words,
they are now talking more politics than military.
So even if you are talking about politics, Mr. Anosike, is it that they don't have the political will to curb the insecurity that has bedeviled the Northeast and even Nigeria as it is right now?
They are now seeing insecurity.
Wow.
They are now seeing insecurity as a business. So, and to stop insecurity means that business will stop.
Mr. Anosike, final words. Where does that leave Nigerians going forward and looking into the next election in 2027?
Well, Nigeria is now in Thomas Hobbes' concept of state, a state where life is brutish and short. There's no part of this country that has not been bedeviled by insecurity.
Right.
No, southeast, northeast, northwest, and so on and so forth. So every day, what we are doing is sending condolences. Next week, they will still send.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anosike, for being here, and we do appreciate you for always obliging us the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, we've been talking with Mr. Peter Anosike, who is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He's also an erudite commentator on economics, finance, politics, and power. Once again, we appreciate him for his time. We'll take a very short break now. When we return, we'll be continuing with the midday news. Stay with us.
With gratitude to God for a life well spent, the family of Ayinla Fatunke announces the passing away of our father, grandfather, uncle, and brother, Pa Benjamin Babatunde Ayinla Fatunke, who passed away on the 30th of July 2024 at the age of 96. Service of songs and wake at Genesis Hall, Yaba Baptist Church, 19 to 23 Commercial Avenue by Raymond Street, Yaba, Lagos. Time 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Lying in state between 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. and celebration of life service by 10 a.m. at the same venue. Interment follows immediately. Announcer Mayowa Fatunke for the family. With sincere condolences from the Voice of the People family.
Welcome back. Now, the Lagos state government has reiterated its commitment to enforcing laws and reclaiming all encroached rights of ways on drainage channels across the state as part of efforts to prevent flooding. Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources Tokunbo Wahab made this known during an inspection visit to flood-prone areas in Ojo local government, including Isheri, Ayetoro, and Alaba International Markets. Wahab noted that illegal structures built on drainage channels have worsened flooding in these areas, and the government has awarded contracts to restore critical drainage systems. Wahab further explains that notices had been issued to individuals who have encroached on the channels, and enforcement would begin promptly. The state will work alongside contractors to clear the illegal structures and restore the proper flow of water, with the ultimate goal of making Lagos flood-free. He stressed that the law will take its full course, and the government is determined to address all infractions disrupting the environment. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has urged Nigerian youths to strive for excellence, focus on details, and exercise as a seek reward for their efforts. Speaking at an interview session with the third cohort of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative in Abuja, Tajuddin affirmed the 10th House commitment to addressing youth issues. He promised to enhance communication channels with young Nigerians to facilitate the exchange of ideas and improve their conditions. The Legislative Mentorship Initiative, initiated by former Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, aims to educate select youths about parliamentary processes, democratic governance, and leadership. Tajuddin encouraged the participants to actively engage with their mentors, emphasizing that mentorship benefits both mentees and mentors. The speaker highlighted that previous Legislative Mentorship Initiative cohorts have been successes, with 4 members from the last group now employed by the National Assembly. He also introduced a new internship program for 20 LMI alumni who will gain hands-on experience by working with key House committees. Additionally, a social media platform will be established to connect graduates with House leadership, fostering ongoing interaction and idea exchange. Nigeria's power generation has reached a 3-year high of 5,313 megawatts, according to the Ministry of Power. This milestone was achieved on Monday, with the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, urging electricity distribution companies, that is DISCOs, to increase their energy intake to prevent grid collapse. The minister emphasized the need to enhance power supply across the country to meet growing energy demands. The minister had earlier announced in May that power generated and transmitted from the national grid reached 5,343 megawatts, which is marginally higher than the current figure. This progress is a significant improvement from March, when power generation fell to 3,500 megawatts. The government aims to prioritize delivering services to customers in higher billing categories with plans to gradually improve services for all customer segments through focused investments in infrastructure. The International Day of Charity is a special day when people all over the world come together to help others. It's a time for individuals, groups, and businesses to join in and make a difference. It encourages everyone to be kind and to help others in need. The theme for this year is Fighting Poverty and Improving Education and Health. Chisom Einaya of Voice of the People TV has the rest of this report.
Charity, along with volunteerism and philanthropy, plays a vital role in bringing people together and building stronger and more inclusive communities. The United Nations established the International Day of Charity to encourage everyone, individuals, organizations, and communities to get involved in helping others through acts of charity and volunteering. Treasure Uchegbu, the convener Deaf Ambassador, shares her thoughts on how charity helps create a more resilient and inclusive society.
In honor of the International Day of Charity, a day where we celebrate love, we celebrate giving. This is giving. Then charity is also a day where volunteerism and philanthropy is also celebrated. So I'm honored to be on air today. The impact of charity on building a more inclusive and resilient society cannot be overemphasized. Charities that has gone ahead to provide education, provide feeding. I did that years ago where I went into my track school. They had a dance program to address a feeding challenge in a particular community. We've also seen charity initiatives that has provided housing for underprivileged persons. So we actually rise by giving. So charity can help to foster a much more resilient being an empathic society where everyone is included and no one is left behind.
Charity can ease the harsh impact of humanitarian crises and support essential public services like healthcare, education, housing, and child protection. It also helps preserve culture, promote science, protect our heritage, and advocate for the rights of the marginalized. In times of conflict, charity spreads the message of humanity. The United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted in September 2015, highlights the eliminating poverty in all its forms is the biggest global challenge. The agenda calls for increased global cooperation, especially to support those who are most vulnerable. It also recognizes the important role of businesses of all sizes, civil society, and philanthropic organizations in achieving these goals. Mother Teresa, a beloved nun and missionary, dedicated over 45.
Back now to some business stories. The Nigerian naira has fallen to a 6-month low, trading at 1,625.88 kobo to a naira on the official NAFEM market. This represents a 0.89% decline from the previous day's rate and the lowest exchange rate since March 8, 2024. The drop in exchange rates indicates a troubling trend for the Nigerian currency, which has been under continuous pressure. The decline in the naira's value is attributed to the consistent decline in FX turnover from July to August, alongside significant daily fluctuations, highlighting the growing strain on the official market. The reduced turnover suggests a tightening of dollar liquidity, which could exert additional downward pressure on the naira. With the market grappling with these challenges, it may become increasingly difficult for the CBN to maintain the naira's value, potentially leading to further depreciation if these conditions persist. The impact of the naira's depreciation is far-reaching, affecting businesses and individuals alike. Importers are facing increased costs, while exporters are struggling to compete in the global market. The depreciation has also led to higher prices for goods and services, exacerbating the already high inflation rate. Still talking business, following the recent fuel price hike, Uber and Bolt drivers in Nigeria are negotiating prices with riders to earn higher fares. The drivers claim that the ride-hailing platforms have not adjusted their prices to reflect the increase for cost, forcing them to find alternative ways to cope. This development has led to a surge in offline price negotiation between drivers and riders. Some drivers have resorted to selecting which requests to accept based on pricing, while others are adding extra charges to the estimated prices on the app. For instance, one driver mentioned that for long trips above 10,000 naira, they call the driver and give them their own price. They call the rider and give them their own price, adding at least 5,000 naira. If the rider does not agree, the driver cancels the request. This coping mechanism has become necessary for drivers to survive in the business. And now to some sports stories. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owen Enna, has lauded Ogechi Nwogu for her impressive silver medal finish at the Paralympic Games. Nwogu competed in the women's up to 45-kilogram powerlifting event, setting two new Olympic records before narrowly missing out on gold. China's Zhu Qiu claimed the top spot with a 119 kg lift, while Nwogu secured silver with an equally commendable 118 kilogram effort. Eno expressed immense pride in Nwogu's performance, describing it as heartwarming and inspiring for all Nigerians. He also extended congratulations on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, emphasizing the significance of Nwogu's achievement on the global stage. We're still talking sports. Former Nigerian international Dimeji Lawal has encouraged the Falconers to put their 3-1 loss to Germany behind them and concentrate on securing a positive result against Venezuela in their final group game at the 2024 FIFA Women's World Cup. Despite creating numerous chances against Germany, the Falconers couldn't convert enough to secure a win. Speaking ahead of Saturday's match, Lawal expressed confidence in the team's ability to bounce back, highlighting their commitment and drive to making a positive impact for Nigeria on the global stage. He believes the Falconets have improved significantly and can achieve a favorable outcome against Venezuela. Well, we'll round it up with some entertainment stories where Nigerian singer Korede Bello opened up about his departure from Mavis Record, a label he joined in February 2014 and left in 2021. Bello, known for his hit songs like Godwin and Do Like That, revealed that his decision to leave was driven by a profound need for personal growth and self-discovery. Bello explained that he felt like a product at Maven Record, primarily there to generate revenue. He emphasized the importance of understanding one's purpose and not getting caught up in the relentless pursuit of the heat of the next hit. He noted that many artists fall into the trap of constantly chasing success, which can lead to losing sight of what truly matters. Despite his departure, Bello maintains a strong relationship with Don Jazzy, the founder of Maven Group. Since leaving Maven Record, Korede Bello has also been focusing on his solo career and exploring various interests beyond music. And to end the media news, here are the highlights of the headlines once again. Trade Union Congress fumes over sudden hike in petrol pump price, demands reversal. Fresh attacks claims lives in Plateau's community. In business, Nigeria's Naira exchange rate hits 6-month low at 1,625 Naira 88 kobo to a dollar. In sports, Sports Minister applauds Nwogu for securing Team Nigeria's second medal at the Paralympic Games. And with that, we've come to the end of the Midday News. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOB TV Live. Coming up shortly is Spotlight with Chisom Einaya. Stay tuned. My name is David Edwin. Do have a good afternoon.